to the Mommy-Daughter Dialogue. I am Aisha, the mommy.
And I'm Ari, the daughter.
And we decided to start this podcast because many people have spoken about our relationship as mommy-daughter. We do have a typical relationship, but we didn't have the typical struggles that a lot of mommy and daughter relationships have.
Yeah, and I wanted to create this with my mom because a lot of my peers have talked about how they have struggles with their parents. And I feel like this is a good resource to have. People can come to, and we can teach people how to have a relationship like ours.
And since she's 17 now, feel like we've been through a lot of the childhood struggles, so we are navigating our way into a young adulthood mommy relationship. So we'll see how that goes, but thanks for joining us today. So each day, each time we come to you, we're going to talk about a different topic. So pull up a chair, pull up your drink, put in your ear pods, and let's get started.
Yes.
All right. So today we wanted to talk about creating a safe space for mommy-daughter conversations. How do you build a trusting relationship? How do you work through or navigate tough conversations? So that's a lot of what we're going to talk about today. And we'll always address this using two questions. First question is, what did I intentionally do in order to create the relationship that we have, and what's her perception of some of the things that I did? Listen, I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I always say to Ari, you're gonna need therapy because all kids do. Parents, we mess our kids up, but not on purpose. Our kids come through us to teach us lessons, but we're going to share some of those lessons with you today.
Yes, very excited.
Yeah. So, what did I do to intentionally create a trusting relationship? One of the things that I did was not hide a whole lot, but I always did things in a age appropriate way.
Yeah, when it came to, because since she was a single mom, there was dating and stuff, and with that, some things were appropriate for me to see, some things weren't. She didn't have men coming in and out the house all the time, and I didn't see that side of her too much.
So what do you think, what's your perception of what I did to create a safe space for you to come to me with problems, or what's your perception of our space for conversation?
I think the most important thing is me being able to trust you. I feel like a lot of parents will go and a kid will come to them, express their issues, and then they'll go tell a grandmother or an aunt or a cousin, and then it goes all around the family and ends up getting back to the child, and it's like, Mom, I thought this was between you and me. Why does Aunt Susan know about this? So I think the most important thing is to keep things between the child and the parent. Mm-hmm. I don't think you should go around telling other people your child's business, even if you think it's small. That's just building that trust.
So as a mom, I'm going to share a little secret here. I had a confidant. As Ari said, I was a single mom, so I couldn't go to my husband or her dad. Her dad was definitely around and in the picture, but we weren't together. So I couldn't go to, my spouse, my significant other, and share what she shared with me. But I did have a confidant. I had a best friend, and I would tell my best friend everything, and we would talk about it. But the deal was my best friend didn't go around telling other people. Yes. So that's how that works. So you do, as a parent, need somebody else to talk to. You need someone else, especially as a single parent, need somebody that you can trust to navigate those situations. But you want to make sure that it is someone you trust, because the number one thing is creating that safe space, creating that trusting relationship with your child. And we all know once that trust is broken, it's so hard to build it back. Mm-hmm. So it's important that the people that you as a parent have in your network are people that you can trust. And for me, it was really 1 to 2. As a matter of fact, my regular confidants would be like 1 to 2 people. But I have a network of people who help me through that, so that's important too.
Yes, I also think it's important to have a judgment-free zone. Try to be the least judgmental as possible. Of course, you want to make sure you lead your kid in the right direction. You want them to be able to make mistakes. And when you feel judged by people, then it makes you less likely to talk to them about your issues. And I feel like
mom secret. So here we go with the mom secrets, right? So I made it a point that when Ari would come to me and say shocking things, I would maintain my composure. And so, can we talk about what's something that you shared with me? Is there anything?
I can't think of anything.
Shoot, I can think of some things. Oh. But anyway, she would come and say something, and I would say, "Oh, that's interesting." And then I go to my confidant and say, "Girl, guess what? How am I supposed to? I kept a straight face, but good God, what am I supposed to say?" So she never knew that. Again, having those trusted people in your circle so that you can maintain this trust relationship with your kid. And so me not flying off the handle when she would say things to me, but having someone that I could really depend on and talk to and flesh those things out before I had a conversation with her was helpful. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I mean, I knew that you had somebody to talk to. Everybody needs somebody to talk to, but I didn't know.
Yeah. So let's talk about the sister circle.
Okay.
Yeah. So raising her as a single mom, I had a village of women, family, but everybody doesn't have family. The sister circle that I want to talk about is the sister circle of friends, family as we now say. So there were a group of women who we all had, well, all except for one, had girls the same age as Ari. We were all single, we were all dating, and so that village, creating that village of women was so important in navigating those early years with Ari. What do you want to say about the sister circle? How was it for you?
The circle was great. I remember hanging out with my friends. They would hire a babysitter. We would stay in the basement, play games, have fun. They would go upstairs and have their little therapy sessions.
But did y'all know it was therapy back then?
No, we thought that they were just, hanging out together.
Child, let me tell you, we had some serious sessions back then. I was guilty. I'm an educator, but I was guilty of getting Ari to school 5 minutes late every single day. That was one of the things that I needed to work through. And so the sister circle, and I would be like, but I know what they're doing the first 5 minutes of class. They putting their coats away and waiting for the announcements. And they would be like, Aisha, listen, you need to get that baby to school on time. So it would be things like that, just accountability, the men stories, a lot of the stories she still doesn't know about. We're working through some of that stuff now, but navigating the relationships, and we would be upstairs crying and the girls would be downstairs having a good old time. Yep. So just really having that village as a parent is important. Because those are the things that you don't want to go through with your kid. Those are the burdens that you don't want to place on your child. And I know a lot of times, particularly as single parents, we go through things and our kids go through them with us. So I really want to urge single moms to try to find a network of people, even if you don't have family. Try to find that network of people that you can discuss adult issues with so that your kids can be kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So therapy. Speaking of, sister circle was therapy for us. I'm a huge proponent of seeing therapists. So through the years, I've gone to therapy for different reasons. But there came a time where Ari came to me and said, Mom, I think I want to go to therapy too.
Mm-hmm.
So as Black women, as Black families, how do we create a safe space where our children can come to us and say, where they even know to come to us and say, you know what, I'm going through some things. I think I need therapy. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I saw therapy on TV, and I was like, you know, yeah, and I was just like, I'm feeling some sort of way right now, and I think that this may help me and work for me. I don't think we ever previously discussed therapy before I brought it up. But my mom was very accepting, was like, all right, like, I'm going to find you a therapist. When do you want to start? So that was very, I don't even know what the word is, but it felt good to be able to just tell my mom, look, I need help, or I need to see someone. And she just, accommodate my needs. Like,
do you want to talk about like the first time? Because she's been to therapy several times. I've been to therapy several times. But do you want to talk about around how old you were?
I think I was around maybe 8 or 9.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm thinking I was thinking 7 or 8. So maybe 8 is the magic number.
8. Okay. So I was about 8 years old. And the therapist was really nice, and I think the best thing that could have happened was that I had a Black woman as my therapist, and I've always had a Black woman as my therapist, and there's just a certain relationship that they have with their younger Black
kids or
the
patients
and stuff like that. They can relate to you.
Yeah.
So that was a really enjoyable experience. And I learned a lot from it.
What'd you learn?
I learned how to try to think of different ways to instead of just like getting frustrated, getting mad, try to think of ways to be more, I don't even know, like just strategies to try to make my situation, just help me think more positively, or, take a break and just come back to it, or, maybe you just wanna, I don't know, like it was definitely a minute ago, but.
Yeah, that first time was a while ago.
Yeah.
So, mommy point of view, when she told me she needed therapy, I was like, what? What does she need therapy for? Again, in my brain, that's not the experience that she received. So I'm seeing a pattern here, right?
Yeah.
And the pattern is, don't project your adult things onto your kid, right? Mm-hmm. So while she saw the mom who was, okay, when do you want to go? Inside, trust me, I was like, I had that whole Black family, even though I had been to therapy, I'm like, why is my 8-year-old telling me she needs to go to therapy? Like, she's fine. But again, that's not what I said to her. That's what my confidants were for. So I hit the roof, like, she wants to go to therapy. I think she's too young, blah, 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 blah. And I had to work through that with another adult. So that by the time I came to her, what she saw was open mommy. You want therapy, honey? Sure. And it ended up being the best thing. But the other thing about therapy is her therapist was great for her, but that first therapist, Ari has really been a pretty balanced child. And so her therapist asked me, I don't know if you know this, but she asked me if you could lead a therapy group for kids.
Are you serious?
I am very serious. She said, she was like, oh my gosh, she's so great. I think she would benefit other kids. I said, well, wait a minute. No, my child came to me because she thought she was having problems. I'm not going to then make her responsible for leading other children through some things. So that was, the what do you call it? The mama bear came out in me, and I said, absolutely not. So, with that I think with therapy, as with everything, words that or ideas that I keep coming back to is number one, intentionality. Like I was always intentional about making sure that her experiences could be as childlike as I could keep them for as long as I could keep them that way. So it was not her responsibility to be my friend. It was not her responsibility to be my sounding board. It wasn't her responsibility to help me figure things out for her. And I think that is what allowed us to create this relationship where she could come to me as the child and say, this is what I need. Me work out all my stuff with other adults and then come to her and provide her with what she needed. What do you think?
I think that sums it up right there.
That sums it up. So just remember, as a parent, particularly a single parent, even if you don't have family, just seeking out, and in this day and age of technology, back when you were young, technology was kind of just coming out, but now we have Zoom, we have FaceTime, we have WhatsApp, we have, all of these Facebook groups or other ways that you can connect with people. So even if someone isn't close by, you can connect with those people and work through your adult concerns before addressing that with your child. And that way the space between you and your child can remain a safe space for your child.
Yes.
So
okay,
that was cool. Yeah. So we have two parts to our podcast or our show. We're doing the personal conversations, and then we're going to do the pop culture conversation.
Culture.
So this is where Gen Z meets Gen X, right? And she shares with me some things that through her generation's eyes, and
we're just gonna talk about it.
That's
perspective.
Let's talk about it. So you said there was something that came up, child. I don't even know who these people are.
So on Christmas, I saw that Iggy Azalea, who is a rapper, a female rapper, she had a baby with another rapper, Playboi Carti. And she says that he missed his son's birth because he went to Philly to play the PlayStation with Lil Uzi, another rapper.
Wait a minute, she had a child.
She had a child.
And her child's father
missed the birth because he wanted to go play PlayStation.
How old are these people?
Gotta be in their mid to 20s. And so here's the thing: the baby was planned. She had a C-section, and C-sections are scheduled,
which makes it worse.
And he still missed it. And this year, their baby is about, I think he's like 8 months, still pretty new. He didn't see the baby for Christmas. He cheated on her while she was pregnant. So, and he just released an album this week. So
who's the baby daddy?
Playboi Carti.
I don't know.
Just a rapper.
Okay.
And so she's airing him out. This, he's just airing him out, letting everybody know.
It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time. I think that as women, I don't know either one of these people, so I don't know what they look like. But one of the things
she's a white woman.
Oh, child, and is he black?
He's black.
So, women in general still, race being a non-issue for what I'm getting ready to say. We put up with far too much from men. And being a single mom from the beginning, because Ari was a wonderful surprise for me. But so I've always been a single mom. And while it is great to have your companion there, her dad was there in the beginning, that's a wonderful feeling, but it's a much better feeling to not be stressed when you got a brand new baby.
Yeah.
A much better feeling. So if you with somebody and he's prioritizing playing games over being with you, that's somebody that you don't even need in your space. So I'm glad she's airing him out, and I'm glad that she's coming to the realization that she can do better by herself. I'm not going to say bad all by herself, because most of us rock it out. So she can do better by herself. Kick that motherfucker to the curb.
And this is not the first time a man has done her dirty. I don't know if you know about Nick Young, the basketball player. Have you heard of him?
No, child.
But she dated, a few years back, she dated Nick Young, and she caught him on the security cameras bringing his baby mama into the house, and he got her pregnant.
Listen, this is why I'm saying create safe spaces with your daughter, build that self-esteem. We all have to go through like struggles when we're young, because you got to find your way. But what you don't have to do is you can be intentional about creating a space where your child can flourish in self-esteem. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, and that starts with us.
Right.
That starts with us. So, Iggy Azalea, honey, I wish you luck. Good for you kicking that dude to the curb, because he's got to grow on his own. But you ain't got time for that, because you got to be this child's mother. You have to be full and complete in being this child's mother, because clearly this man is not ready to be a daddy. So, move on, honey.
Yes.
Anything else?
Did you heard about the young man who was accused of stealing this white woman's phone?
Yes! Oh my goodness. So, all right, guys, there was at a New York hotel, there was you want to tell the story of what happened?
Yeah, so there was this young black man with his, not even a man,
a boy.
Child. He's like,
a teenager.
14, younger than me. This white woman accused him of stealing her phone, which she ultimately left in the Uber, and I saw a video, she was like attacking them, harassing them, asking them to put where's the phone at, pull out the phone. The boy and his father were like, we ain't got to show you anything. Like, nobody took the phone. And the hotel was on the white woman's side.
What did that remind you of, Ari?
Oh, we had a similar experience.
We surely did.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it? Or you want me
you can talk.
Okay.
Yeah,
so we went to Hilton Head, South Carolina, and a white man accused me of stealing his wallet out of his beach chair, and ultimately his wife had his wallet. So just like with this lady, her
first reaction,
she left her phone in the Uber. And so that's the first thing I thought of. I'm so glad that this child's father was there to protect him, and was like, you absolutely do not need to show her anything. They were residents of the hotel, just same as our situation. The other guy, he was not a resident, a guest. They were guests. He was a guest in the hotel. We were guests in the hotel. I went to hotel management. They just kind of fluffed it off. But again, and this was a white man accusing me, and I was like, if my husband, a black man, had accused and charged at a white woman in the same way that this man charged at me, it would be a whole different situation. So, my heart ached for that child, but that white woman had the wrong one that day, because this man, it has been all over social media. I hope that I know that there were a couple of they were saying that she was this person or that person, but both people who look just like the lady, actually both of them do, on Instagram. They have Instagram accounts.
I do know that that civil rights
lawyer said that they would go for the hotel, because she stayed in the hotel a while ago, so the hotel has her name and information. But at that moment, she was not a hotel guest, but the boy and his father were. So I do want to say the hotel, after we really have to fight for what they get for free. So in other words, the hotel manager in this case really took the side of the boy instead of taking, the woman, instead of taking the side of the boy. Same thing with my case. They were just kind of like, there's nothing we can do. Ultimately, of course, I fought and fought and fought. We ended up leaving But I got the police there. The hotel did end up doing the right thing. Comping our rooms and everything. But it was a really traumatic experience for me and for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's traumatic for all families who have to go through that. So I really do hope that I want to see them sue the hotels for it, because it's time for people to start really thinking about their implicit biases and how they handle situations with Black people.
I agree completely. It's just such a shame, because you, as a young Black person, you are not seen as a young person. You are seen as like some, I don't even know, like just some inhumane creature that's just trying to like destroy people's lives and just like do all wrong. And that's not the case. We are humans just like anybody else, but it's just so sad that the color of our skin is what makes us
targets for racism.
Yes.
Targets for racism. That's the bottom line. And so, I'm glad that this has come out. I hope that the hotel, does what they need to do to train their employees. And the more, we need to keep, unfortunately, seeing these things, because there's so much of this happening that we don't see on social media. This stuff happens every day. So the more we can post it, the more we can go after people where it hurts, meaning legally, or getting some kind of financial compensation for this. It doesn't make up for the emotional trauma that you suffer when you go through something like this, but I think it's important to share.
Yeah, it helps. Definitely helps. So other than that, is there anything else that you...
I think that might wrap up our first episode, right? So I want to thank you guys for joining the mommy-daughter conversation. Again, I'm Aisha, the mommy.
And I'm Ari, the daughter.
And we will see you next time.
Deuces.